Welcome to Conservation Beyond the Cage, the official podcast of the Rare Species Conservatory Foundation. RSCF is a nonprofit organization specializing in breeding and recovery strategies for some of the world's rarest wildlife. Here, we go beyond headlines and hashtags, beyond exhibits and press releases, to bring you the truth about species conservation and the people behind the programs fighting every day to save what remains of nature. Each episode is a journey into the forests, the labs, the rescue centers, and the policy rooms where science, expertise, and courage intersect. We're here to inform, to enlighten, and to inspire a deeper understanding of what real conservation looks like, up close, unfiltered, and undeniably urgent. Because this isn't just about saving individual species, it's about saving wildlife and wild places. This is Conservation Beyond the Cage.
Welcome to Conservation Beyond the Cage, the official podcast of the Rare Species Conservatory Foundation. I'm Karen McGovern, Associate Director at RSCF, and I want to thank you for tuning in because this show isn't just another nature podcast. It's a call to rethink what real wildlife conservation looks like, what it sounds like, and what it demands of all of us. Here, we're going to have the conversations that most organizations avoid. We'll talk about endangered species, but also about corruption, burnout, greenwashing, and what's really happening behind the scenes of global conservation. But before we dive in, let me take a moment to introduce who we are and why we do things differently. The Rare Species Conservatory Foundation, or RSCF, is a nonprofit organization founded in 1994 with a singular mission: to develop and implement science-based breeding and management strategies for critically endangered wildlife. Our U.S. Breeding and Research Center is home to some of the world's most endangered species, and we don't fit the typical profile of an animal care facility. We're not a zoo, and we are not open to the public. We don't breed animals for display or profit. And we don't believe conservation is something that happens behind a desk. Our team, including our board of directors, is made up entirely of conservation practitioners, scientists, biologists, field leaders, people who work hands-on 7 days a week with the animals we serve. This isn't theoretical for us. It's not just strategy or policy. It's daily direct involvement with some of the rarest species on Earth and a deep personal commitment to keeping them alive. We work with species like the golden-headed lion tamarin and the red-browed Amazon parrot from Brazil and the mountain bongo antelope from Kenya's highland forests. These are species with incredibly small wild populations, some in the dozens. They can't afford shortcuts, and neither can we. That's why we stay small and focused. Why we prioritize fitness, reintroduction potential, and habitat protection. We're not here to impress. We're here to save species. All that sounds well and good, but how exactly do we do what we do? That's what this podcast is for. We will dive deep into our program's mission and introduce you to some of the spectacular animals we are privileged to work with every day and the programs behind them. We will also introduce you to our staff of animal care specialists, the lifeblood of our organization. They will share perspectives on what it means to show up day after day, rain or shine, to ensure the species in our care get the best of us, no matter what. I'd like to share a quote with you all by Dale Jameson, published in Ethics on the Ark. He says in part, "One hope that I have for the future is that we will recognize that if we keep animals in captivity, then what we owe them is everything. Whatever else we may believe about the morality of zoos, I hope we can come to a consensus that these animals are in our custody through no wish or fault of their own. They are refugees from a holocaust that humans have unleashed against nature. If we are to keep animals in captivity, then we must conform to the highest standards of treatment and respect. My hope is that zoo professionals will accept this principle and that an enlightened and aggressive public will keep them to it, for the animals themselves have no voice in human affairs, and as nature recedes, their voices become ever more silent." This quote is at the cornerstone of everything we do here at RSCF. We created Conservation Beyond the Cage because we're tired of watching real conservation programs get overshadowed by performance. There are organizations that sell access to animals under the guise of education, facilities claiming to be sanctuaries while quietly breeding for trade, social media influencers who prop up rare animals for clout without doing anything to protect them. Meanwhile, the people actually doing the work, keepers, researchers, recovery teams, are burning out, underfunded, and often staying silent. This podcast is our way of breaking that silence. In each episode, we'll dig into the real work of species recovery, from the daily grind of animal care to the global systems that put wildlife at risk. We'll share stories from the field, personal reflections, uncomfortable truths, and hard-earned victories. We'll talk about what it takes to design recovery programs focused on repatriation of species to their home countries, the emotional cost of animal loss, the mental health toll of working in crisis mode, how to tell the difference between real conservation and clever marketing, and the constant battle to end international wildlife trade in endangered species. This show isn't just about raising awareness. It's about raising the standard. Whether you work in this field or care from a distance, this podcast is for you. Because conservation isn't just a profession, it's a promise. And it only works if we hold ourselves and each other accountable. We don't claim to have all the answers, but we do have the courage to ask the hard questions. And we're so glad you're here to ask them with us. Next time on Conservation Beyond the Cage, we'll tackle a tough truth. Are we really saving species or just selling stories? Until then, stay curious, stay grounded, and stay wild. If you like what you heard, please follow us here and on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. For even more information about our programs and mission, visit our website, rarespecies.org.